I'm Nazeen Qureshi from Nairobi International School in Kenya. I am in grade 10 and today I will be narrating The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman, and I'm glad to be part of GEMA World Storytelling Competition.
The Yellow Wallpaper is a psychological horror story about a woman named Jane. She begins her journal by marveling at the grandeur of the house and grounds her husband John has taken them for their summer vacation. She describes it as an aristocratic estate or even a haunted house, as she feels an eerie feeling coming from the house and wonders, why has the house been empty for so long? She's suffering from a nervous disorder and complains that her husband, who is also her doctor, does not take her illness and her thoughts and concerns seriously. She contrasts his practical nature with her own sensitive and imaginative ways. Her treatment requires that she do almost nothing active, and she's especially forbidden from working and writing. She feels that activity, freedom, and interesting work would help her condition, and reveals that she has begun her secret journal in order to relieve her mind. The narrator begins describing the house. Her description is mostly positive, but disturbing elements such as the rings and things in the bedroom walls and the bars on the windows keep showing up. She's particularly disturbed by the yellow wallpaper in the bedroom, with its strange, formless pattern, and she describes it as revolting. As the first few weeks of the summer pass, the narrator continues to long for more stimulating company and activity, and she complains again about John's patronizing, controlling ways. Although she immediately returns to the wallpaper, which begins to seem not only unpleasant, but oddly menacing. She mentions that John is worried about her becoming fixated on it. The narrator's imagination, however, has been aroused. She mentions that she enjoys picturing people on the walkways around the house, and that John always discourages such fantasies. She describes the bedroom. It must have been a nursery for young children, perhaps, judging by the paper which is torn off the wall in spots, and there are scratches, and the furniture is heavy and fixed in place. She begins to see a strange sub-pattern behind the main design of the wallpaper. As time goes by, the narrator is alone most of the time and says that she has become almost fond of the wallpaper and that attempting to figure out its pattern has become her main form of entertainment. As her obsession grows, the inner pattern of the wallpaper becomes clearer. It begins to resemble a woman, creeping behind the main pattern, which looks like the bars of a cage. Whenever the narrator tries to discuss leaving the house, John silences her. Each time he does so, her fascination with the paper grows. Soon, the wallpaper dominates the narrator's imagination. She becomes possessive and secretive, hiding her interests in the paper and making sure no one else examines it so that she can find it out on her own. John thinks she is improving, but she sleeps less and less and is convinced that she can smell the paper all over the house, even outside. She discovers a strange smudge mark on the paper, running all around the room, as if it had been rubbed by someone crawling against it. The sub-pattern now clearly resembles a woman who is trying to get out from behind the main pattern. The narrator sees her shaking the bars at night and creeping around during the day. When the woman is able to escape briefly, the narrator mentions that she too creeps around at times. She suspects that John and Jenny, John's sister, are aware of her obsession, and she decides to destroy the paper once and for all, peeling much of it off during the night. The next day, she begins biting and tearing at the paper in order to free the trapped woman whom she sees struggling from inside the pattern. By the end of the story, the narrator is hopelessly insane, convinced that there are many creeping women around, and that she herself has come out of the wallpaper, that she herself is the trapped woman. She creeps endlessly around the room, smudging the wallpaper as she goes. When John breaks into the locked room and sees the full horror of the situation, he faints in the doorway, and so the narrator has to creep over him every time. Thank you.